Thank you for your introduction. And so let's jump straight into it with this opening slide about the 3 fundamental mistakes. And many of the mistakes I will talk about in this webinar today stem from these very fundamental mistakes. And starting from the left here, you see that the first one, managing tasks at the expense of leading people. And of course, task management is important, but we have to always bear in mind that delivering projects is actually all about people, because it is people who make projects happen. And so if we, as many project managers do, begin to manage tasks over and above the leading people, if we give it more attention to the task than to people, then we will be in trouble, because, you know, with the right team, with the right engagement with the right people, you can actually deliver anything, almost anything on a project. So we will talk a little bit more about this balancing act between tasks and people during this webinar, and the mistakes that stem from having this balance wrong. The second one, focusing on the urgent rather than the important. So what happens here is that because many project managers are bombarded with incoming requests, and I think more so now than ever, it just appears there is more and more pressure on project managers, on projects, on organizations to deliver. So the more of that incoming pressure you get and experience with lots of emails and requests, the harder it becomes for the project manager to be strategic, to be proactive, and to focus on that which is really important. Because perhaps it's more important to develop a business case right now, or to have an important conversation, rather than dealing with the influx of emails or requests that come in. So we're also going to delve into that a little bit more. And then the third one here on the right, believing we have to know it all and do it all. Another very fundamental mistake, from which other more specific mistakes spring. So this is the notion really that many organizations like this idea of the hero project manager, and that's obviously why I have a picture of Superman here. So it's so tempting to invite in this project manager who can just make the decisions and who can just direct the troops and who can tell people what to do, and all the ducks will be in the row, and fantastic, we got it all done. But it really is a problem if this happens. It can be a short-term fix if the project is in a bad state. But to have project managers behave like this really alienates the team, because we get this person who just commands the troops. And there are many other subtle variants of this superhero project manager, other than somebody who really commands the troops. It can be much more subtle, as in somebody who wants to solve everything and a really good technical problem solver. However, it's a barrier. It's a barrier to the team developing, being more empowered, and co-delivering, co-creating the project with the project manager. And I have, believe me, I have made all of these mistakes myself, and I've seen so many people make these mistakes also. So let's now combine this mistake number 1 and the fundamental mistake number 2 by looking at it in a bit more detail. Okay, so we do that by looking at this matrix, the project leadership matrix. And what you see here is you have task focus on the left-hand side, people focus on the right-hand side, being proactive and focusing on the strategy and that which is important at the top, and towards the bottom being reactive, which is much more immediate, focusing on that which just emerges for you, much more firefighting. And all of you listening to this, you will have a place on this matrix where you operate most of the time. Of course, all of us are going to fall into all of these quadrants at some point, but we may default. We may default to one of these quadrants. Okay, So if we start with quadrant number 1 here, the bottom right-hand corner, this is where you have a people focus, so very people-oriented, but you are reactive. And if this is your strength, if this is where you spend most of your time as a manager, it means that you are good at sorting out really critical people issues that emerge. It's almost like being that ambassador, but being an ambassador on a reactive basis. So whenever somebody isn't getting on, or you hear something not being right, you would step in and you help to mediate. Yeah, but so interpersonal conflict will be your strength. I don't see that many project managers operate most of their time in quadrant number 1, but it does happen. Let's move to quadrant number 2, which is much more common. So here we have a reactive mindset, and at the same time we are task-oriented. We have a task focus. So this is where we, jump on all the emails, we respond to the requests that come from our clients, from our superiors, from the team. So we get to work and we have no idea what's going to happen that day. We just work off our inbox or off the people who contact us, and we just get through stuff all day. And at the end of the day, we're not really sure what we've achieved, but we've sorted out a lot of issues. So that's kind of a firefighting mode, which is quite common. Then we move to quadrant number 3, which is really classic project management. It's task-oriented and it's also proactive. So this is where all the planning sits. This is where you create your charters, you do your risk management, you make sure that your quality and your scope is all defined, and this is really where most of the PMBOK and all the big certifications in project management, they operate. They're telling us, they're giving us techniques and strategies for how to plan a project well. And then we have the last quadrant, number 4, which is where you have a people focus and at the same time you're proactive. And there's a lot of good stuff sitting here, which is really leading the team, properly leading the team, leading your stakeholders, building relationships, and also providing the vision and direction when required. So the question now is, okay, so in the context of project management mistakes, which we're talking about, where should we position ourselves in order to avoid most of these mistakes? And I've given it away to some extent on the previous slides, but it is really by aiming to be proactive, by aiming to have a strategic approach, not by just getting to work and letting the influx of requests steer our day. There will always be times when we need to be more reactive. We always need to react or respond to what comes to us. But the more proactive you are, the better the more time you take to plan your project and to build relationships early on in the project, the better you will stand.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.